thank you for joining today's virtual education program with Cancer Support Community Los Angeles. I'm Larissa Montalvo, and I'm the virtual program manager with CSCLA. I welcome you to this week's webinar titled Wig Tips for Beginners. Today, we are joined by hairstylist and wig maker Chantell Carrtherol of Hers by Chantell for an introduction to wigs, including what to look for when purchasing a wig, how to properly clean your wig, and styling tips. Before we begin, if this is your first time joining us, Cancer Support Community Los Angeles is a premier nonprofit organization providing vital social and emotional support to families facing cancer, including patients, caregivers, and their loved ones, all at no cost. Our programs include support groups, healthy lifestyle classes, social activities, and educational programs such as this one. If you'd like to learn more about services or watch past webinars, please visit our website at www.cancersupportla.org. Without further ado, I would like to welcome today's speaker. Chantell Carrtherol's passion for wigs began 15 years ago when her clients facing hair loss shared their difficulties finding a decent wig. This revelation led Chantell to dedicate herself to becoming an exceptional wig maker after decades of styling hair for celebrities, Broadway stages, red carpet events, fashion runways, and everyday women. The more Chantell connected with women facing hair loss, the more she knew that she needed to expand her services. Therefore, Hers by Chantell was formed. Chantell's passion for hair is the same it has always been, except now she serves women with hair loss by providing them quality wigs and services so they can rediscover their strength, heal in private, and focus their energy on recovery. Welcome, Chantell. We are so excited to be hosting you today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Larissa, for the beautiful introduction.
Thank you.
Cancer Support Group. And thank you to all the attendees. I'm really excited to share all things wigs. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop in and ask them. So we'll go ahead and get started. So like Larissa mentioned, my name is Chantell. I am a hairstylist, wig maker, and the founder and CEO of Hers by Chantell, which is a specialty wig company focused on providing wigs to women within the hair loss community. And so I'm very passionate about this because I know that most people don't know a lot about wigs, and I think especially it can be overwhelming. And so hopefully I can provide you guys with some tips and some tricks and some information to make this process for you a little easier. So over the course of this hour, we are going to cover the difference between synthetic and human hair wigs, some of the pros and cons. I will also give you guys a list of must-have supplies that you should have at home. Let's see. In addition to that, I will also help you with styling tips and also washing tips. So I'll go ahead and just get started. So a little bit about synthetic and human hair wigs. So synthetic wigs are made of more of a plastic-like fiber, and synthetic wigs are wonderful because if you're someone who doesn't have a ton of time to put towards your wig maintenance, synthetic wigs are great because you can literally wash your wig and it keeps the body in the shape. Whatever curl is set, that's what it's going to be. But obviously synthetic wigs, the hair doesn't move like real hair does. So that's one of the downsides. One of the other wonderful things about synthetic wigs is that the price point is significantly cheaper than human hair wigs. So that's definitely something to think about. And then obviously with human hair wigs, like I said, the hair, it moves. It has more life, it feels real, and at the same time, it means you have to style your wig on a regular basis. You have to wash it more frequently. And so I think if you're someone that doesn't have that time, those are some things that you want to consider. So, sorry, one second. So When you are choosing a wig, and I know that this can be really overwhelming. I know for myself, when I first started out on this journey, I didn't know a ton about wigs, and I actually didn't realize how many options were available. And when I went into the first wig store, it was extremely overwhelming. And the reason I went into that wig store is I had a client and she was facing hair loss, and I wanted to be able to help her through that process. And so when you're looking for a wig, there's several things to consider outside of what I just talked about, the whether you want synthetic or human hair. One of the things you want to consider is the wig cap, the base that the wig is built on. I'm going to show you an example. So for those of you who are not familiar, this is what they call a full lace wig. The reason I like full lace wigs is because, as you can see, they are constructed or built on a mesh material and lace, which actually is very similar to tulle material. And if you're familiar with tutus that ballerinas wear, it's very close to that, but almost even finer. So when it's up against the skin, it's more breathable and more comfortable. And so I think a lot of people don't consider the cap very often, especially if you're used to having hair. And you want something, because your head is one of the main heat sources, you want to make sure that whatever is on your head is going to be breathable so you're not uncomfortable. And so that's something to consider. I usually like this wig right here so this is the mesh material, and then this is the lace. Now, the thing with lace wigs, for those of you who are not familiar, is that with lace wigs, you do have to tape them down or glue them down, which requires a little bit more time. So if that's something you're not into, that's okay. There are still other options. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back over here. So when you're looking for your wig, consider the cap. Make sure it's breathable. Go with lace if you can. And you also want to consider texture. So if you're someone who doesn't have a ton of time, you're not going to go for a curlier wig like this one behind me. They require a little bit more effort. I usually, for clients that come to me and don't have a lot of time or don't even have the energy, I usually tell them to get something with a natural body wave, something that they can basically wash, put on the wig head, and let air dry, wake up in the morning, maybe they tweak a couple pieces, and then they're able to just go. So you want to consider that. You also want to consider, so if you decide that working with a lace front wig requires too much work, there's also another type of wig called a hard front. And what a hard front means, I'm sure you guys have seen this when you've gone to wig stores, you'll see wigs that have bangs. And a lot of the wigs that have bangs have this, what they call a hard front, because it doesn't look natural. It's a pretty hard line around the hairline. So you wouldn't just wear it back with the hairline exposed because it would be obvious. But the great thing about the hard front is that you can put the wig on, and if it has bangs, you really can just throw it on and go. So hard front wigs usually are a little lower in price point than the lace wigs. And so that also is another option for you to think about. Another thing to consider, so let's just say you decide, Chantell, I don't want bangs. I don't want that hard front that you're talking about. I do want something that feels more like my hair. You want to make sure that if there is a lace front wig, and I'll move this a little closer so you guys can see. I don't know if you can see this hairline, but right around this hairline are single hair knots. And I'm going to try to explain this in a way that makes sense, but this is really important information. So you want the knots, which is basically how the hair is tied into lace, to be very small. And the reason this is important is because if the knots are too big, they're going to be obvious. And so I tell people this all the time, and I have people come to me who've purchased wigs and maybe didn't know that information, and then they get the wig and it's almost like there's not a whole lot that we can do with that. So that is something that you definitely want to consider. It's really important. But like I said, if you don't want to go the lace front route, a hard front with bangs, easy peasy. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna teach you guys how to take your measurements. And the reason that taking your measurements is so important is because, you know, the wig caps come in different sizes. And once the hair is actually tied into the cap, it can be very difficult. If the wig cap is too big and for your head, it's going to show. It's going to hang in the back and it's going to be obvious. So if you can take your circumference and your other measurements before heading into the wig shop, that's very useful. So a little bit of information that you will want to know if you go to a wig store. Most wig stores will sell caps by small, medium, large, or sometimes they will say it's 20.5 inches circumference, 21.5 and 22.5. The 20.5 is typically a small size cap. And you do want to know this information because sometimes companies don't tell you whether it's small, medium, or large. And so a small cap is typically 20.5. A medium cap is typically 21.5. And a large cap is typically 22.5 and up. And so let me go ahead and just show you guys how to take your measurements. You guys, you can do this at home. I'm going to show you guys a couple things actually now that we're here. So she's actually perfect because sometimes, you know, I have clients that don't have hairlines. They've lost all their hair. And so in this case, how do you know where to place this tape measure, right? Because when measuring your circumference, you typically you trace your hairline. So let me show you how to do that. So typically, let's just say you have no hair. You take 4 fingers and you place them right here in the center of your eyebrows. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's typically where your hairline is going to start. So in this case, come back. All right, we'll do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll put the tape measure, you'll center it right here. The tape measure will go behind the ear. And so you guys, if you have hair and you have a hairline, we're basically tracing the hairline, and I'll be able to demonstrate this on myself. All around the back, behind the ear. Okay. Come on. All right, so this is a little more challenging, guys, but thank you for your patience. So it looks like this is actually 22 inches, almost 22.5. So this would be closer to a large size wig cap, but this is exactly what you would do. So the wig cap refers to the circumference, which is what we just did. Another thing that you will want to do, because since head shapes vary, you find that center point again, right? 4 fingers. Measuring tape goes there. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. She's giving me a hard time today. Okay, so 4 fingers from the center of the eyebrow, measuring tape. So front to back is important too. So I would say if you're going to take, we can take a lot of different measurements for this, but since we're not talking about doing a custom order, we're going to just take the 2 measurements that I think are the most important. So circumference, and this is front to back. Let me show you. Front, back, right down the center. Most people are anywhere between 12 and 13.5 inches. That's an average size. She, I'm gonna say, is about 14 inches, just to be on the safe side, because you don't want the wig cap to be too small, because then it will ride up and it will be very uncomfortable. So when you're taking your measurements, you want to do that. If it's too difficult for you to do yourself, you can always ask someone to do it for you. But I'm just going to show you how easy this is. Again, let's just pretend I don't have a hairline. There's the start of my hairline. There, 1 finger there. Okay, bring it around. Let's see what I'm at. And so typically what I say to do is, let's see what I am, 22 inches. Yeah, so if let's just say most, like I said, most wig caps are 20.5, 21.5, 22.5. So at 22 inches, I probably would round up. I'd feel comfortable, especially if I have hair that goes under the wig, like I do. If you have hair, it's okay to round up. If you don't have hair, round down. So what I probably would do if I had no hair since I'm at 22 inches, I would round down and I would get the wig that's 21.5, which would be the medium size wig. And I want you guys to know that this is information that I have collected over the years. It doesn't mean that there isn't a wig company out there that feels that a medium is, a 20.5. I'm just throwing something out there. But I say that to say, ask questions and ask them what the circumference is of the actual wig and the measurements, and they will be able to tell you that. So I think with that information, that you take that into the wig store, and that alone is going to help you, because it's really going to have a huge impact on the fit, and the fit impacts your comfort level, the comfort of the wig. So there is that. You guys, if you have any questions, feel free to pop in, and I'll definitely try to answer them for you. So let me know if you have questions about wig measurements, if you have questions about synthetic wigs or human hair wigs, don't hesitate to ask. Okay, so there are some things that I put together a little list for you guys, and I was just like, okay, what is the must-have list? Because obviously there's a lot of stuff out there, and it's hard to really know what's a necessity and what's not. And so I'm going to share my list with you. Obviously, you don't have to get all of these things, but I'm going to list them based on what I think is most important. Okay. So I'm sure you guys have seen these before, and if you haven't, this is a canvas wig block. These come This particular one is canvas material, but some of them are plastic or hollow. I don't usually like those because those typically are hard around the outside. And so if they don't give, and so let's just say you're in between, your measurements are in between wig head sizes, then you just don't want the wig head to be too small or too big. If it's too big, it's going to stretch your wig. If it's too small, it's probably not, it's going to possibly create creases, and it just won't fit your head as nicely. So when you're choosing a wig head, I just want to show you this. That is 22 inches. So usually you can get wig heads in 19 inches, which is usually used for kids, 20, 20.5, 21.5, 22.5. And so this one is, 21, 22, and also 23. So this one is 22. And actually this wig cap is a little baggy in the back, but this person's circumference is 22 inches. And so I went ahead and decided to go with the 22-inch head because I wanted to make sure that the lace lays pretty flat. You can see. So that it doesn't lift and that it lays pretty flat when it's on the person's head. Does all that make sense? Again, you guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to jump in and ask. Okay, so let's go over this list again. The wig head. These typically, they're a little on the pricier side, but when I tell you they're worth it and that they hold up, it's worth investing the money if you can. And so these typically go anywhere from $40 to $70. I think most everyone is located in Los Angeles or on the West Coast. And I would say the store I would go to find a wig head like this would be Namies. And I believe it's spelled Naimes, Namies. That's actually one of my favorite stores to go to for all things wigs. So you can go to Namies. You can purchase this wig head or wig block. Wig makers, we actually call this a wig block, but I'll just call it a wig head for you guys. So you'll want to do that. In addition to that, one of the other must-haves. This is they call it a wig grip. So it actually goes like this. It Velcros around the back. And what's so wonderful about this is that it is, the material is very soft and it's very similar to a velour or a velvet-like material. Okay, and so the reason that you would want to wear something like this is if, let's just say you had a lace wig on and you decided that, you know what, I don't like how it feels to take this thing down. It's a lot of effort, it's uncomfortable, I just don't like it. So what the wig grip does is that it keeps the wig from slipping. And so you put this on, and the purpose of this lace is that you line up the parting with the lace. So I'll show you. Sorry guys, 1 second. I think we have a question. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and type the name of this. So she asks, someone asks, what's the name of the store in LA? It's called Namies. namies. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. So the wig grip is amazing because, like I said, if you don't want to spend time taping your wig down, but you want to make sure it's secure. You know, when the wind blows, you don't want to, wonder if your wig is going to fall or fly off. Shoot, if you're out having a good time, and someone actually accidentally, gets their hand caught in your hair, you don't want to worry about your wig falling off. And the wig grip is wonderful because it prevents that from happening. And then the material creates a very soft barrier between the wig and your scalp. So if your scalp is really sensitive, something like this is wonderful. And what you would do is you line this lace part up with wherever your parting is. So in this case, I don't know if you guys can see, this wig is parted down the center. And so if I was putting this wig on, I would line it up with this lace. And actually, I will try this on for you guys later just so that you can see how that actually works, okay? So let's go over this list again. Wig block, get from Namies. Wig grip. This thing you can purchase on Amazon. It's called a wig grip. It comes in 3 different shades. And I want to say it's about, I bought this for $9. So definitely something to get. Another thing you can use if, let's just say, you decide to take a different route. Maybe you're someone who doesn't mind gluing your wig down. Here's what I would say. You're someone who doesn't mind gluing your wig down, but maybe your scalp is really sensitive and you feel like the lace might be, even though it is probably the most comfortable material out there, maybe it's not all that comfortable for you. So here is something you can do. Okay. So this is a wig cap. I'll just show you guys. You can get this from, you can get it from Namies as well, but you can usually find these in a lot of black beauty supply stores. So, and they usually come in a pack of 2. They come in different shades. You can see on the back here. So let's just say if you wanted white, you could get white, beige, black, and dark brown. Some of the other ones, or neutral, tan. But and some of the different brands come in different shades, and it really is just up to you and your preference. But just so that I can demonstrate for you guys, I'm using a dark brown wig cap. But obviously, if I really wanted it to blend and match her skin, I would get the tan to put under the lace, okay? So let's see how this goes, guys. Uh-oh. Okay, so you'll put this on. I hope it doesn't slip back. She's, let's see how this goes. Okay, so you do that. And then what you will do is take the wig. Whenever you're putting a wig on, let me just show you guys this actually. Let me know if I'm moving too fast for you guys. So we'll come back to this wig cap, but I probably should have shown you guys this. When you're putting a wig on, here's what you do. You take the lace and you flip it. And then you put it on like this. And then usually what you'll do once it's on is you figure out where the sideburns are. And I like to close my eyes because then I can really feel where I'm at. You want to make sure the sides are even. And then guys, remember that trick that I showed you with the 4 fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to tell you where this hairline needs to be, where it's going to look most natural on your face. So then I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Okay. So that's what you would do. And that's what you're going to do anytime you're putting on a wig. But let's go back to this. And I can show you guys that again if you need me to. Okay, I messed my hair up, but so don't mind that little piece sticking out. Okay, so the wig cap is a little barrier between
Chantell, you have another question here. Someone is asking, behind the ears or over the ears?
Definitely behind the ears. All of this should be behind the ears. The wig should go behind the ears. The cap goes behind the ears. If it goes over the ear, it's not going to be comfortable and it just doesn't look natural. So pretend she just flipped this wig on her head. Okay, we're going to figure out where the sides are. There's 1, there's 2, and we are going to, okay, this is about even right here on both sides. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, pull it forward to decide where that hairline is going to sit. So it would go right about there. You see what I mean? That looks pretty. Uh-oh, come on, sis. She's giving me a hard time today, you guys. Okay, so I hope all of that makes sense. And again, if there's any questions, let me know. So that's the wig cap. And some of the other must-have supplies, spray bottle, and I will get to why you need a spray bottle in a little bit when I show you how to wash a wig. So one of the other things you'll want to have on hand is wig tape. This is wig tape. It looks different depending on the brand. Personally, I really like this brand called Bold Hold. And you can find Bold Hold anywhere, and especially online. So at Bold Hold, I think it's boldhold.com. And so you'll want to have wig tape on hand so that, let's just say you are going somewhere where you feel like your hairline's going to be exposed and you really want to make sure that it looks natural and that the lace doesn't lift, you'll put tape on. The tape, as soon as it adheres to your skin and the heat from your skin heats this up, it turns into a glue. And so you'll definitely want to make sure you do that. And I'm going to show you actually on her how to do that, how to apply the tape. Okay, what you'll take rubbing alcohol. And the reason you want to use a little rubbing alcohol is because it removes any type of oils from your skin, which is important because if oil or any sort of dirt or debris is present, the tape is going to adhere to that, which means it won't actually stick to your skin. Okay, so here's what I typically like to do. I take the tape. So this is the tape. I'm going to show you guys what I like to do. Make this really simple. Otherwise, it can be kind of a pain. So I like to fold it over so it adheres to itself. Then I take the little corner. Uh-oh, come on. Okay, there it goes. Do you see? I hope you guys can see this, but I think if you try it, it will make sense to you. So now you have that, so it's not going to stick to your skin. So typically when you're putting this on yourself, what I usually tell people to do is to place, actually, let me just show you here, to place the tape right by the sideburns. So one here and one here. Then you want to figure out where your parting is and then place the tape somewhere near there. So let's just say you have a center parting. Well, you're not going to place the tape in the center, right? Because you don't want to see it. So what you'll probably do is you'll determine where your parting is. So if it's right here, you'll put a little tape there and a little tape there. You'll put it around it. So just like one there, one there. And that will be it. And then initially, no, it won't stick, but eventually it will once your skin heats it up. So what you will do is apply rubbing alcohol on a cotton ball all around your hairline. Make sure it's clean. This is the sideburn. Can you guys see? Okay. And what you will do is I'm hoping you guys can make sense of what I'm doing here. Do you see that? That's the sideburn. So I just went ahead and put that tape. Now remember, I folded the tape back and you're going to see how easy it's going to be for me to remove this back. Okay, so one tape there. One more time, let me show you guys what I'm doing. Folding one of the corners back. Okay, that there. And so really I'm just going to go ahead and secure the sides. And in this case, guys, I'm not going to put the, oh, hold on one second, guys. One question.
Yes, someone is asking, can you cut the tape into smaller pieces?
You absolutely can. And that's the wonderful thing about this. You can do whatever you want. And it really just depends on what you're comfortable with. If you're someone who feels like, okay, I don't need a ton of tape, I just need to know it's there. Yeah, absolutely. Cut it in half. Depending on the strength of the tape. Also, you can get tape at Namies because they also, Namies is also a professional beauty supply store. So they have everything for all of the hair and wig professionals. So they have different tape strengths. And this one I would say is a medium hold, which will be fine. But yeah, you can customize it based on what you're comfortable with. So again, you're going to flip it and put it on, keeping your hands in the center. So let's pretend that I did this for her. And again, we are going to find our center using the sideburns, okay? And then we're gonna find that corner that oh no, we lost her. Okay, hold on, guys. Thank you for your patience. So we're going to remove this. And normally I would do this on the head, but the only reason I didn't do this is because this wig head is, since it's plastic, it's giving me a little bit of a hard time. So just bear with me, guys. We're gonna make this work, promise. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so once you've figured it out, hopefully this will stick. It may not because of the plastic, but just know on your skin it will, and it works really, really well. You can actually go swimming and everything. And if you were going to do that, you would just apply more tape all around. Let's answer a question. So to answer your question, so someone just asked, did you say you would normally put tape on head and not on wig? So no, you would actually put the tape on the wig. I just made a little mistake because of this plastic. It's not sticking as it normally would, but do you see what I just did here? So I actually applied the tape to the wig itself. And then what you do is you put the wig on, you peel this off. I'm going to leave that there just so we don't lose the wig. And you tape it down. Now, if you have a wig that fits properly, which you will and you should, you're not going to see all of this lace. So I'm going to need you guys to help me use your imagination here. So you tape it down. I usually like to rub it just to warm it up. Helps it turn into a glue-like substance a lot faster. If you don't have time to do that, you can use a little blow dryer just to heat that up.
We have another question.
Yes.
Someone's asking how much mesh should be left on the wig from the wig hairline?
Oh, that's a great question. Great question. So let me show you. I'm gonna go ahead and clip this away. Uh-oh, come on. There we go. Let's show you on this one actually. Okay, so this one is actually perfect because I cut this back for a client. So I'm gonna show you. So let's show you what it looks like first. So before it's cut back, this is what it looks like. And most of you know this. This is the front of the wig, and this is that the lace that she's talking about. So what you'll do is, let's bring this forward. I probably would leave, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I leave a very, like a little bit of room, because you can always, I'm gonna kind of go in a little closer so you guys can really get an idea of how close I cut it, but then I still left a little bit of room. And the reason you do that is because this lace material is so delicate, it frays. And so obviously the more that you have, the better, because as it starts to fray, you can trim it back a little bit. But if you cut it too short and it starts to fray, well, guess what? You're gonna have to actually cut the hair and cut the hairline. You don't wanna do that, you know? When you are cutting the lace, you know, some people use razors. I don't usually like to use razors. Typically, I like to use pinking shears. And they're those, if you guys aren't familiar, you've probably seen them in fabric stores. They're like the serrated looking scissors. And I like that because it keeps it from fraying. And so that's what you would do. And let me know if you have any more questions about that. But I think, you know, it's pretty, as long as you follow the hairline and leave a little bit of wiggle room, you should be fine. And so let's see. Some of the other must-have supplies outside of the wig head, wig grip, wig cap, and the pinking shears. And I think I told you guys where you can get all that stuff from. And if you have any questions about that, I can certainly answer that for you. You'll want to also have rubbing alcohol. And yeah, outside of that, I think that you're fine. Uh-oh. Let's see. Okay, so the next thing, oh, actually, you guys, you know what? I just thought about something. So I forgot to mention that you'll also want to have Velcro rollers, and that's what these things are here. So for some of you who do not have time to style your wig, and you just basically want to, you know, put it on the wig head at nighttime, and you want it to be ready to go in the morning, this is what you would do, and I'll go into that in a second.
We have a question. If you like to wear your hair behind your ears or in a ponytail, looks like that may not work due to hairline issues on the wig.
So actually, no. The reason that people wear these lace wigs, and this is a film quality wig. So basically the lace is meant to disappear under an HD lens. And so my point in saying that is that actually this is the wig, the lace wig, lace front wig is what it's called, is actually the more natural route, because once you glue all of this down and you would just use some tape, it actually blends into the skin pretty nicely. And usually the lace comes in a transparent, which is probably the lightest, and then a medium brown, a dark brown, and let's just say you can't find the perfect match. Well, there is a company called True Match Conceal that sells 3 different shades of well, it's temporary lace dye. And so True Match Conceal, I think it's spelled TRU, True Match Conceal. And if you cut the lace back, add the dye, or not dye, sorry, use the True Match Conceal that matches your complexion on the inside of the lace cap. And they show you guys instructions on how to do that, so I'm not going to cover that here. So if you do all of that and add the tape, it actually looks very natural, and you really can't tell that it's a lace wig. So, and for the person who said that, you know, they like to tuck their hair behind their ear, that's not a problem. Usually what I tell people, if you're going to do that, just so that you're comfortable, I don't know if you can see this. You see how I left a little hair out? I would probably leave less, but it would look more like this. Let me move it a little closer. Because the goal here is to really mimic what your natural hair would do. You know, you want this to feel natural. So, okay, don't look at that, but look at this. Do you guys see this? Do you see how natural that is? So up against someone's skin, with these little bits down, just around the sideburn, really does make a huge difference. When trying to hide the lace. Okay, let's see, what are we going to move on to next? 1 second, please. Okay, you guys, so one of the other things that I want to teach you, and I'll make this very quick, because I know I've been pretty long-winded, is how to shampoo your wig. So this is really important, because when it's not shampooed properly, the hair will come on it actually ends up on the inside of the cap. So it ends up coming through the inside of the cap, and that can be very itchy. So what you'll want to do is, just like I've done here, you'll put your wig on this wig head, and you will, I'm going to turn this camera so you guys can see a little bit, in your kitchen sink. You will take your wig, set it in the kitchen sink. You will take your spray bottle and whatever shampoo you have, you're going to mix 1-to-1 ratio shampoo to water, so 50-50. So whatever you have, 50% shampoo, and you'll dilute it with 50% water, put it in a spray bottle, you spray it on. I usually like to then use a brush to brush the shampoo through. One hand usually goes on the wig head so that it doesn't pull and stretch out the cap. And then when I'm done, and remember, it doesn't need to completely suds up at all, okay? Then when it's done, you turn the water on and you allow the water to just kind of run down the wig. And so when you do that, you don't deal with tangling, and then you also don't deal with the hair coming on the inside of the cap. Also, this is really important, use cool water. Cool water shuts the cuticle, minimizes tangling, minimizes frizz. So always wash your wig with cool water. If you have a synthetic wig as well, cool water, never warm, is the way to go. If you're washing a synthetic wig, it's actually easier. You can use dish soap. Of course, you don't shampoo it because it's not real hair. So that's pretty simple there. And then what you would do is you put your synthetic wig back on the wig head, let it air dry, you're good to go. So then back to this human hair wig over here. So let's just say we mixed our 50-50 shampoo and water, we sprayed it on, we brushed it through, we rinsed it with cool water, then we're gonna take conditioner. We're gonna work the conditioner mid-shaft through the ends. And what mid-shaft means is about here through the ends, okay? The middle point of the hair strand. And then what you will do, let's just pretend that this just came out of the sink. We just conditioned it. What I usually like to do is to let this sit here on a wig block, let it air dry. And then if I want to do something extra, that's exactly what I'll do. And I'll usually wake up and do it the next day. When you do that, curl it, put these Velcro rollers in, or mist it with water and put these Velcro rollers in. Wake up the next day, and you really don't have to do much. The Velcro rollers do all of the work for you. Okay. Can you guys see this? I'm gonna move it a little closer. Uh-oh, maybe not that close. Okay, so I was going to spend a little bit of time curling it for you, but I think we're actually running out of time. But I just want to show you the front of this so you can just see how pretty that is. So you see this really, this process doesn't have to be so difficult. I think if you, with these tips, it will really speed up the process and make it so that, you know, you can basically do this stuff at nighttime and then wake up in the morning, brush your wig out and go. And that's the goal. Okay, so I hope all of this information has been helpful, and I hope it hasn't been too overwhelming for you guys. You guys, if you have any questions, feel free to pop in right now and ask them. You can also reach out to me and ask me questions as well after this is over. Let's see.
All right. We have quite a few questions here for you.
Got it. Okay. So, Kathy, if the lace breaks on an expensive wig, so what you can do, actually, you can come to me. It really just involves refronting the wig, which means I would go in, remove probably an inch around the hairline. I would add more lace, and I would go in and completely redo your hairline to match what it was before. And that's a pretty quick and easy way to fix that problem without having to go and purchase a new wig. Let's see.
We also have some people just saying, thank you for the session, very informative. A member saying, I will go daring this second time around and go colorful wigs. Yay.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I mean, I feel really, really excited and honored that I could share this information. And again, if you guys have any questions, I'm here to help. So let me know.
I have a couple more questions from Facebook Live. What does this say? Does the source of the hair for human hair wigs matter?
No. And the way that I will break this down to you guys is that most of the hair, so you understand, comes from India. And the hair in India is donated for religious reasons to the temple. The temple then auctions it off to Asia. So most of it comes from India. And what happens is companies and factories private label it, and they will say you have Malaysian hair when really it all comes from the same place. So it's either Indian, which is the softer texture, or Chinese, which is a thicker cuticle. And very rarely you will see Eastern European hair, which is softer.
Wonderful. Our other question is, what's the typical price range for wigs? Is there an ideal price range to ensure good quality?
Yes, so wigs can be very, very costly, especially the quality ones. Expect to spend anywhere from $1,300 up. And 1,300 is on the lower end.
Okay, we have another question here. How can we contact you?
Yay! Okay, so you guys can reach me at either on Instagram at hersbychantell or not .com, sorry, at hersbychantell. So HERSBYCHANTELL. So just go to my Instagram page. You can find a link to my website. You can find my email address, or you can DM me.
Great, and I typed both of those into the chat. It's also in the Q&A as well. We have another question. How do you know if it's actually human hair, and how much would the repair that you spoke of cost?
Wonderful. So as far as the repair, I would have to see images, and I would have to look at the actual hair. So if you reach out to me, I would be glad to look at your wig, and we can kind of go back and forth and figure out what's going to be most cost effective for you. One of the ways that you can determine whether you have synthetic or human. I thought about this and I was like, don't do that. Well, there's a very simple test, guys, but we're all adults here, right? So I can share this. So what you're gonna do is take a little bit of hair, snip, 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 probably from the back where you won't see it. Take a lighter. If when you light that hair on fire, it continues burning and smells like popcorn, you've got human hair. If when you light it, it just balls up, it's synthetic, it's plastic.
That is useful. I never would have thought to light my hair on fire. Maybe
At first I was just like, do I share that information? But I mean, honestly, it's one of my favorite tips to share because it's really hard to know.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great tip, because I think that's something that's doable. I think a lot of people looking at it wouldn't be able to tell. So that's a
and sometimes you guys, these wigs have synthetic, they call them blends, which means there's a blend of synthetic and human hair, but you can still figure out by burning some of it just what the percentage is. Like you can pretty much guess. So that's also something to keep in mind.
Great. And the last question here is, can you use styling products on your wig?
On human hair wigs, absolutely. I would just say keep any oily type substance away from the actual wig, the wig cap where the knots are tied in, because what will happen is those knots will start to slip out.
Wonderful. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for being here, Chantell. This has been extremely informative, such important information, especially for our wonderful community. We have so many members here in the chat saying thank you, and you're the best, and this was very helpful. And I second that. Thank you so much, Chantell. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this, and anything I can do to help make this a little easier for you, just don't hesitate to reach out.
Great. And as a reminder to everyone, this is being recorded and will be up on our website in a couple of weeks. It is also on Facebook Live for you to rewatch at any time. Feel free to share it with your friends and family and to visit Chantell's page at Hers by Chantell.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye.